Good morning, good evening, and good day. Thank you so much for watching Attack Power Gaming. Today, we're continuing our How to Play the Division series with the 2nd New Zealand. If you enjoy this content, please hit that like button. Consider subscribing for more Steel Division 2 content. And if you really like this channel, you want to support me more or get coaching and other benefits, consider joining me on Patreon. Let's dive right in. So here I am with the 2nd New Zealand, a fabulous little division, definitely my favorite Commonwealth division, hands down, no questions asked. I'm sure if you've watched the channel, you know I'm not a huge fan of most of the Commonwealth divisions. I don't like rifles, and I just feel like, at least in the current meta, those divisions really kind of underperform these days. But this one is an exception to that. It's unique, it's fun to play, and it is quite strong. And it has been since it was released. When it was first released, it was completely OP. Now it's just very, very solid. I'm doing it in Maverick. This one can definitely be built balanced. It can go either way for sure. It's got plenty of depth if you want to go long. But it works well in Maverick, I think, too. And I kind of like playing it as Maverick. I just think it gets the job done pretty well, but I could definitely be talked into doing balance for sure too. So strengths and weaknesses of the deck, you get this really unique and solid Infantry Tab. It's not big. It's not a large number of slots, so you do have to keep that in mind, but the infantry you have in it are really quite powerful, especially for the usual Commonwealth infantry. The Recon Tab is solid. It's nothing incredible, but it does have some good options. The Tank Tab is Sherman's. And as I always say, that's a plus and a minus in itself. The support tab is okay. It's not great. It's got the tools you need, but they're not phenomenal. Your AT tab is the usual Commonwealth AT tab. Again, take it or leave it. It's got its pluses. It's got its minuses. AA tab, same exact thing. 40 mils, pluses, minuses. Your artillery tab is meh. It's very meh. It's definitely not great. This is definitely one of the weaker parts of the deck, I would say. The air tab is, once again, a Commonwealth air tab, which means it's very strong. It's got some really strong options in there. So, yeah, overall, really solid. I mean, yeah. So let's go right in. Here we go into the infantry tab. And like I said, lots of unique options here. The first being the diggers. Okay, so this is like their kind of like their standard infantry, I guess. I mean, there's two kinds of standards infantry in this one. Yeah, it's really not, I guess. But it is. It's the diggers and the Oplites or Oplites. I don't know if which one is right. Tell me in the bottom which one it is. So I prefer the Oplites. They're bigger. That's really the only difference, along with the different. There's some difference. I should back up. Sorry. I'm just gonna keep switching. Oplites have 12 men, 2 grease guns, 8 Lee Enfields, and 2 Brens, while the diggers have 2 Thompsons, 7 rifles, and 1 Bren, and only 10 men. So right off the bat, you have a 2-man difference. Also, the Oplites have Raiders trait, which does make them stealthier, which is nice, and they don't break down as easily behind enemy lines. The big difference here in terms of like which is better comes down to the 2 extra men, which does allow them to live longer, and really the double Bren. So the double machine gun's a big deal. That's the make or break right there. In terms of power, like close range power, the Thompsons are technically better than the grease gun. Not because of fire speed, because of the accuracy. The 10% increase in accuracy does make a difference. So yeah, they're both pretty good submachine guns though in terms of submachine guns. But yeah, the double Bren really puts the Oplites on top, which is why I have 1 card in every phase of these guys, because they are definitely stronger. The Digger's Piat, though, comes with a Piat. So gives you some AT power, and you know how I feel about Piats. They're not very good, but you kind of need something, because otherwise none of your infantry has any AT at all, and you can just kind of get run over by light armor and armor cars and stuff. So you need something to kind of scare the opponent away, and that's literally all it's for. I don't expect this to kill a single piece of armor, but if it does, it must be my birthday. Continuing on, you get these really good flamer units. Actually, you can only take them in A at 1 or 2 vet. 2 vet might be worth it. You only lose 1, so definitely something to consider. But I did use all 5 in my game, so maybe 5 is necessary. It's a 8-man squad, 4 grease guns, 3 rifles, the flamethrower, and some smoke. The grease guns are pretty solid, and the couple extra rifles, it's not even about the rifles, it's about having more men to keep the squad alive, keep the flamethrower essentially alive. These guys do quite well. They get the job done, and they're also Raider too, which is always fun. So, yep, that's A. The nice thing, commander, leader-wise, you get 4. So you can get 4 leaders, which I like. Anytime I can take 4 leaders instead of 3, I do it. Even though they're only 2 men, I work really hard to keep my leaders out of combat, so having 4 really lets you spread them out around the map a lot easier. But you could take a digger leader just fine. A rifle leader here just fine. Don't take the engineer leader. They don't have any radio, so there's really no reason. But they're only 20 points, so I guess they're 5 points cheaper, but they have 3 still, so that's why I'm going with these. Anyway, B phase, more of these. Then we have the Maori. Oh, I had a Maori in A as well. These are fanatical 10-man squads. They have a pretty solid loadout out here with 2 Thompson, 2 MP40s, 4 rifles, and 2 MG34s. I actually would almost say it goes either way. They're pretty strong at close range, and they're solid at range. They're not overwhelming at range. The MG34, while good, is not an overwhelming machine gun by any stretch. It's not like the MG42 where it like insta-pins some stuff. So, it can go either way how you use this thing. It's the fanatical, though, that's really helpful about it because they don't surrender, and that's always nice. And then just a C card of the Oplites, however I'm saying it. So, yeah, really good infantry tab, really fun. They perform pretty well. This is how I kind of wish rifles performed, but then honestly all the Commonwealth divisions would be really, really strong. Hopping over to the Recon, you get a lot of options, but a lot of them aren't like super great. You get these snipers. That's what these are. These are snipers. So I'm taking 2 cards of those because I like snipers. I just like having these 2-man recon squads, and it's better than taking these because they actually can do something. And then a card of Stag Hounds, which I would vet, but they go down to 3, which sucks. If it was a 5-4-3 curve, I would definitely vet them, but at 5-3-2, that really kind of sucks. And it hurts because Stag Hounds for me always underperform. They are overcosted, underperforming armored cars. The only thing about them that's really good is the 90km/h speed. Otherwise, they just they never do as well as I think they should. I feel like they should be really good. Statistically they should be, but they just don't perform. Like the BA-10 for 25 points is 100 times scarier than this thing, and I don't know why. It just misses all the time. It shoots pretty slow, but so does the BA-10. So I'm not, tell me in the bottom why Stag Hounds suck. Is it just the price? Could just be the price, but they just don't perform. Scouts Piat, I'm almost tempted because any sort of recon with AT is good. But Piats are so bad. I just can't. I can't bring myself. This is just a 4-man submachine gun squad. Might be okay. I don't really think it's worth it, though. This is a 6-man squad. It's almost okay, but it doesn't get there for me. It doesn't fight enough. It doesn't fight hard enough. The radio's nice. But again, you can get radios with the snipers, so you might as well just take the snipers. Tanks. Shermans. Sherman 3s all the way across. I mean, it's good. It does the job. Put a Sherman in the right place, close combat support, and it blows your mind how good these things are. Put them in the wrong place, open ground, fighting other tanks, they're an embarrassment. So it really just kind of depends on the map, how good a Sherman is, and how you use them, how you micro them. I'm taking 1 vet, and double vet in B. The problem with double vet in A is it cuts it all the way down to 2, and that's a little much. If you really want to spam your tanks out, that's a little harsh. It's hard to really function with just 2 of them, so that's why I'm keeping it 1 vet. Hopping over to the support tab, lots of options, but it's really redundant. Most of them are machine guns. You can see 4 different cards, 1, 2, 3, 4 different cards of machine guns here. I'm taking this one because it has the Raider trait, which gives it exceptional stealth, which actually really helps. Because if you're not shooting, people aren't seeing you, so that does really help. The whole Raider up in your stealth thing really kind of can matter. Commander and the Sherman 1B, which is your 2,000 meter range support gun, which you really kind of need these days. I really can't get around having. If you have them, you should be taking them. The Stag Hound with the 1,500 meter, I don't really think that one's. It only does 2.2 damage. It does not shoot very fast. This is not a very good unit. I'm not taking supply because I have a lot of supply coming in the artillery, and the artillery doesn't actually need a lot of supply, so that's why I've decided to forgo the supply in this deck. Also a Maverick, so it's not going to be very often that you're actually running out of ammo with a Maverick deck, at least I think, for the most part, unless you're already heavy, which I'm not. Anti-tank tab. It's your basically usual Commonwealth anti-tank tab with a couple special things in here. So we have the regular New Zealand 6-pounder gun, okay, which is your 6-pounder gun, like all the other 6-pounder guns. But then you get these Greek 6-pounder gun, which have the Raider trait. Now, it's a big loss of availability. It's 4 instead of 6. So you're losing 2 guns compared to the New Zealand one. But then you get this exceptional stealth, and I got to tell you, there is a difference. Again, there's a big difference between very good and exceptional. The 6-pounders can literally shoot out of a forest and not be seen unless the opponent has recon of some sort or infantry at a relatively close distance. Otherwise, this thing can just keep shooting stuff and never be noticed. It's really quite strong. So that's why I take the lower availability 6-pounder here over the higher one. Then Carter Wolverines. Necessary evil in my opinion. You got some mobile AT at 1750 meter range really helps, and they do fine. I always struggle with these 76s on the Western Allied divisions. I just find they don't seem to penetrate very often. I get very frustrated. And then the 17-pounder. Because at times you do need to kill big things consistently. So a card of those is really helpful. So yeah, that's how I have the AT tab built here. Hopping over to the anti-air. There's not really any choice here. This thing is not super duper good in any way whatsoever. You only get 4. I don't see any reason to ever take this. The Bofors is the Bofors. It's fantastic. I actually decided to bring them in at 1 vet. I think 6 for Maverick is plenty. And when you get these Bofors up to 2 or 3 stars, they really do start to become really dangerous. The opponent really can't get a plane through once you have a 3-star version of these. It's a brick wall. So yeah, that's why I'm taking them at 1 bet. How many artillery tab? The artillery tab makes me sad. There's not a lot here. Taking the 81mm mortars and then the 25-pounders, which are okay. These are not bad. They fire quite fast. They have radio. They get a lot of ammo, which is why I'm not worried about the supply thing, because I can bring 2 of these in, leave 1 ammo truck for both these artillery pieces, and the other one can go supply whatever I need to supply if I'm really that desperate for supply. 81mm mortars would be the only thing I would consider needing supply, generally speaking. So yeah, I mean, if you get enough of these, they can definitely like mass fire things down. You have a lot of radios on your recon over here, so you definitely should get some corrected shot. Otherwise, they're really not good. If you don't have corrected shot, they're kind of crap. So just bear that in mind. There's really nothing else here, so it's not a great. Oh, I'm sorry. You do have the Willys OP here, which is 140mm. It gets 3 charges, which is pretty good. It's an okay off map. I hate off map, but it's okay. Does the job. And finally, your beautiful Commonwealth air tab. I'm taking the Spitfire Recon because it does function as a fighter. The only difference between this and the regular, it's not here. They don't have a normal. They don't have this build of the Spitfire in this deck. You just have way less bullets. You're missing a lot of bullets on this. I guess here would be the bomber version of this thing. You get less bullets, but it's recon. It goes very, very fast, so you can generally get away from enemy fighters, keep this thing alive for quite a while. Yeah, it's good. It definitely can hold down the fort fighter-wise at the beginning of the game. Kitty Hawk, mostly because of the availability and the price. It's much cheaper than, say, the Spitfire, which is 140 points. It gets way more bombs for the 140 points, but you get only 2, and that's a lot of points. This you can get after 1 tick. It's still quite fast. This one's only, 35 kilometers faster. This will kill most support weapons it drops a bomb on. So, yeah, they're very solid. They're still quite fast. And then in B phase, the Boston's very good. I've decided to take the lighter one over the Baltimore. I could be wrong about that. Maybe you want to do the Baltimore instead. I don't know. Probably. But this one's faster. I like the extra speed to get it out. And these are high altitude, so they generally will get past a single piece of AA. So, very solid. Then a card of fighters, because I would like some legitimate fighters here. These really pump out a lot of damage with the quad 20 mils here. They're really quite good. Very, very fast. Bad resilience, though. Be careful. They do die. And then your bomber Spitfire. There's a lot of bombs on a ground attack plane. This will kill anything it drops bombs on. Even an infantry squad, unless it's like maybe a Strafniki squad wouldn't, but any normal size 10-man squad will die from this, along with any support AT, things like that will definitely die from this bomber. So yeah, great air tab. So, very solid division overall. Not a lot of glaring weaknesses. If I have to play a Commonwealth division, this is definitely the one I would pick. It's way more fun than the other ones. Its unique infantry make it quite dangerous, and this is definitely a division that some people fear. It really can... It can overwhelm me in a hurry, especially on Maverick, which is why I'm playing it that way. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to consider supporting me on Patreon. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic day.